There's a special place in my heart for coffee shops, and that would be the definite driving force that brought me here to Nirvana Soul. Standing in front of what used to be Cafe Frescati, Nirvana takes over its residency in the middle of my favorite street in San Jose, the Sofa District. I grew up on open mics and poetry slams in all sorts of cafes back home, so this story was a true treat. Local Love Episode 4, Nirvana Soul.
So my sister Veronica, who is working right now, can't be here for the interview, she's been in coffee for almost 20 years. And she started at the Pete's in Willow Glen and has just worked at several shops since then. I know I keep on teasing. She's worked at several shops since then. And early on in her career, she just knew she wanted to open her own shop. And the reason for that is that shops are a lot about community and belonging. And she's like, there's no misfits in coffee. Everyone has a place here. It's so welcoming. And she just wanted to create that for herself. And so she lived in Sacramento for 10 years, and then she moved back here about 3 years ago. She moved in with me and my husband. We lived together, and we just started dreaming and talking and visualizing and decided, why not give this a shot? We didn't want to get to the end of our lives and be like, we probably should have tried to open Nirvana Soul. She already had the name for 10 years, and so why not try? And so she brainstormed names with her best friend when she lived in Sacramento. And she wanted something that sort of represented paradise and like a perfect place, and came upon the name Nirvana, of course. And then as she was working with that name, Soul kind of just came to her when she had the Nirvana part of it together, Nirvana Soul. So this all kicked off this time around when we decided we were going to do it from a vision board party we had with our friends at the end of 2018, I think. And so we all got together for our New Year's resolution sort of things. And then Veronica and I put on our vision board that we were going to open Nirvana Soul. And so all of our friends who were there, they've been on this journey with us the whole time. Our family is almost always here. They were just pushing milk up the ramp to put it in the fridge right now. We just always have friends and family here.
I first met Bianca and Veronica a few months ago as we attempted to do this interview over Zoom, but to no surprise, it didn't really go so well. Fortunately, this brought me to the shop, excited to speak to Bianca and to learn about the first Black-owned coffee shop in San Jose and their mission to spread love.
Well, I want to be clear that San Jose is an exceptional place, right? So we're so grateful to live here, and even with the election going on and looking at other places and all, the trouble they're having, I'm like, man, what a blessing to have been raised here in California. I think we almost take it for granted because we're used to it. We live in this bubble. But this community was always on the right side of history. Right. So I didn't feel that there was anyone who was hating. Obviously, there's going to be outliers who just, going to have to be dragged along for this thing. But for the most part, I guess 99.5% of people are super, super supportive. And, that's a testament to San Jose and what we built here.
I've seen more diversity here than I've ever in my life. There's no clear definition for community leaders, but you can find many of them right in front of you, with a neon open sign which sometimes stays on through the night. Supporting growth for your locals and for people is such a beautiful thing.
We want everyone to feel inspired. Right. If we can do something like this, anybody can do it, you know what I mean? Like, we are not special, like we just put one foot in front of the other and decided to go for it. And I hope that when people come in here, they realize like, I can also do the thing that I want to do, no matter what that is. It doesn't have to be a coffee shop, but if they have a dream, it's possible, it's within their reach, it's within the realm of possibility because we've done this too.
The community lives can be seen through the first few steps inside of Nirvana Soul, a shared support system.
Everything is local, so the design is funny because Veronica and I only knew we wanted fuchsia ceilings, which is our brand color, and green tile, which is now on the countertop. We sort of filled in the rest after that. We knew we wanted it to be bright and cheery and fun. A lot of times coffee shops are a little stale. They might not have a lot of personality. And Veronica and I are not like that, right? Like we want to express ourselves in a fun way. And then the art kind of just came from there. We reached out on Instagram and asked for local artists. We asked specifically for BIPOC artists so that we can sort of use what we have, our community, our platform, to elevate them. And so they came by, they came through, and we ended up with pieces that I felt like were super reflective of who we are and who we want to be.
A specialty shop is one that innovates their products through creativity, from local flavors to the whole melting pot experience.
We want to expand the pie. Right. There's a lot of people who drink coffee and tea who maybe feel uncomfortable or intimidated going into specialty shops. And so for us, we were like, let's make sure that there's a menu here that's not intimidating, that makes people feel like it's familiar, it's comfortable. They can come in and get a plain coffee, or they can get a macchiato or something they might have heard at Starbucks. But there's also things on there that might help you push the envelope and experiment. So you can get a beet latte or a turmeric latte.
A beet latte?
Beet latte, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or turmeric, or we came up with something now that's a Dirty Diana, which is a chai with beet powder in it.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, if you want to be out here experimenting and trying new things, you can do that here too. And if you just want to come and get something that you're used to, you can have that here too.
The artist program, Sub-Zero, First Fridays, it's just getting started.
So this artist program is a quarterly program. The artists here now, they can bring in new pieces if they want. So this is the second rev of Akeem Rahim, who's up. And then Groovy behind me is the first thing we saw, and we were like, oh my gosh, they're just spectacular.
Yeah.
So there's just a lot of talent in this city already.
Yeah.
You walk around, you see the murals, you see people drawing everywhere, painting on everything. And it's almost ironic with this being the capital of Silicon Valley, very tech. And then you have that juxtaposed with all the artists here. I think it's kind of cool.
During this pandemic, we've witnessed huge increases in unemployment, a hunger crisis, and a fight for social justice. What I can certainly appreciate more now is the power to create jobs, which they did. As a proud Spartan, it was great to hear about their collaborations.
We are getting really connected with them. So San Jose State reaches out to us pretty constantly,
Really?
which is great. So even just yesterday, I spoke with the chair of the African American Studies. I don't know what that would be called, department.
Yeah.
And so there's just things like speaking opportunities or campaigns with their special interest groups. San Jose State is literally right here up the street from us. So we expect that we'll just get closer with them as time goes on when they're coming back to campus.
One thing I love when just looking at the coffee shop, I see that you guys were, you know, in this economic climate, you guys were able to hire people and give them jobs and do a lot of them.
What a blessing. Isn't that crazy?
It's beautiful.
Oh my gosh. And to be responsible for people in that way is just, honestly, we don't take that for granted, and it's a very serious thing. We had so much talent because everyone was out of school, like physically out of school. So we have people who work or go to school at UC Riverside, other places, because they had an opportunity to be home during this pandemic. And so all of our baristas, I think except for one or two, are students right now.
And as every episode concludes, I always gotta ask, what would you like to say to your local community? Local Love episode 4. Thanks for viewing.
Thank you. I mean, I know we say it all the time, and we're annoyingly grateful. I always say that. But I mean, this would not be possible without the people who've been literally following us on Instagram when we had like nothing. And the fact that this has all come to fruition, and now we're nearing 9,000 followers on Instagram, it's wild. But they saw what we saw, and I'm so glad that we're in this together.